Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I am happy. We have a full house here today. And having a full house, I guess I have to come up with a word right now. Since we got some people that we can save in here. Hi, my name is Dwayne Fabian, and I am chair of the Clayton County Board of Trustees. And at this time, we call our meeting to order. And if we are going to our next phase, which will be our prayer by Pastor Donnie Skidmore.
I want to first off say thank you to the board for allowing me to be a part of this meeting tonight. And what a great success and great work you guys and ladies are doing in this county. And it's such a pleasure to see things getting done. And so I want to say thank you for that as well. And as we go into the opening prayer tonight, Salima Abdullah has given some prayer directives. And as you know, with the discord that we have going on in America, the war, and all the other things gelling at the same time, we need prayer like ever before. And and she's got a daughter that's stationed overseas. As you guys already know, my church has already been praying the directives. And so I want to bring these directives to you tonight, and then we'll have a scripture as well, and then a prayer. So the first one is protection and safety. She said, prayers, let's focus on shielding the personnel from danger, ensuring their safe return, and providing strength during these tense situations in Iran. We want to pray for support for the families, recognizing the sacrifice that these families are making while their loved one is overseas or wherever they may be stationed at and they're deployed. And we want to pray for guidance and wisdom. Lord, let's say that twice. Guidance and wisdom. Because not only do those that need prayer that are overseas, but those that are over them, we want to speak that they be granted wisdom, accuracy, intelligence, a level head, a level mind, and a cautiousness into what we do and what they do for us. And then we want to pray over encouragement, because it's so hard right now that we're in a time that everyone is discouraged with the prices of everything that is going on in society, our governmental structure, everything in general. But to be overseas and these families that are here need encouragement. Those that are there, we need to pray for encouragement for them, that they be connected to someone that is an encourager. I have found in life that if you've got someone around you that is an encourager, it's a whole lot easier to walk that walk. And so we want to pray that as well. And I have a scripture tonight that I'll read to you, and it's found in the book of Psalm 23. And it says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod, your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, and my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen." Amen. Let's bow our heads and go before the Lord. Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come together. God, I thank you for such great leadership that you have placed in this room. God, I thank you for those that have attended tonight, that your hand be upon them. God, I thank you for the great testimonies that are going to come as we pray these directives tonight. And we pray and speak these things in remembrance of Salima's daughter tonight, that we just speak over her, and that, God, that peace be found, God. Lord, I pray over our governmental structures, God. Lord, that wisdom would come in, God. As the word says, as a mighty rushing wind, God, that there be an overtake of your presence, God. And Lord, tonight as I pray peace and I pray solitude over all of these directives and everyone that is here tonight, God, I ask you to give each and everyone here wisdom, give them knowledge, and Lord, continue to help give them that ability to lead this great county. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Daily routine. Trustees.
That's my store.
I didn't see it. That's wrong. Okay, I'd like to thank Pastor Skidmore of the chapel. Pastor Skidmore, wife, is also a pastor at the chapel of Jonesboro. She's also on the board of trustees as our secretary. So we thank you for inviting me the second time around. Pastor, I want to thank you for that word of prayer, word of wisdom, because right now, we all know that all of us need a covering. Because no man knows what tomorrow will bring. So we thank you. All right, moving right along, Madam Secretary, might have a roll call, please.
Yes. Dwayne Fabian,
Present.
Herman Drew Andrews,
Present.
Sabra Skidmore, present. Salima Abdullah, Ebony Brown, Sherry Gates,
Present.
Trina Colwall,
Present.
Shepherd Isaac,
Present.
Shernese Shaw, Joanne Johnson.
Present.
Madam Secretary, do we have a quorum?
We do have a quorum.
All right. All right, moving right along, I would like to ask for a motion for the approval of the agenda.
Make the motion that we approve the agenda.
It's been probably moved by Vice Chair Drew Andrews, is there a second?
I second the
Second
motion.
by Trustee Gates, are there any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions, the motion carries. Next item on the agenda will be the approval of the minutes for February the 10th, 2026 board meeting. And before I ask for a motion, there are going to be two corrections into the minutes. The first correction will be on the first page on the roll call that was present. We have Joanne Anderson, it should be Joanne Johnson. The next item on this,
You got a vote?
no, we got two corrections.
Oh,
The second correction will be on page 4 under the deputy director's report for, facilitated by Belinda Elby, to be Belinda Elby, E-L-B-Y. Okay, so having making those corrections, I need a motion to, yes, non-trustee.
Can I ask for a correction too?
Yes, you can.
My name on the first page is
Okay,
Sherry, S-H-E-R-R-I, not Y.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now with those corrections, I have a motion to approve the minutes, please.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes with the corrections.
It's been probably moved by trustee, or correction secretary Skidmore, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Isaac, are there any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions, the motion carries. All right, Madam Secretary, next item on the agenda will be public comments. Do we have anything on the side?
We do have, are they going to speak, or a lot of them are from the library?
That's fine.
Okay, so we do have 8 people signed up. So the script for the public comments is citizens will be given a 3-minute time limit for public comments. All comments should be limited to topics relevant to library operations or policies and should not solicit or promote products or services. Speakers must maintain decorous demeanor and refrain from personal attacks upon board members or library personnel. Shouting or using obscene language will not be permitted. Following 15 minutes of public comments, The Board of Trustees will allow the remainder of the citizens who have signed up to be heard at the next scheduled Board of Trustee meetings. Okay. The first is Jennifer Wynn.
So if everybody is, okay, so they're not here for public comments, but we're doing a presentation, so that's.
Okay.
On to the next.
Okay. Alex Evans. Okay. Amanda Corbett.
Same.
Okay. Jenny.
That was an error.
Okay.
We all signed in.
Shanna Jones. Okay.
Come on.
With the presentation.
Oh, with the presentation, okay. Terry Jones. Okay. All right. And Ellen,
No, that was a mistake, those two.
oh, those are the mistakes. So, okay. Okay, that's it.
All right, well, go ahead with the presentation.
We're gonna follow, I'm gonna do my report, financial, and then presentation will be conducted.
Understand? All right, that's fine. Okay, moving right along, we'll have the deputy director's report.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How's everyone?
Great.
I don't think we've ever had this many. Right.
Something to coffee.
It must be. We may have to get some more chairs up. Thank you all for attending tonight. During the regular board of trustee meetings monthly, I always start my portion of the report by thanking my wonderful staff, some of which I have here from the Riverdale branch and some from headquarters. So thank you for the work that you do day in and day out. So I'm not going to keep you long because we do have a special presentation this evening, a very special young man. So just for a couple of bullet points for the month of February, for the Coffee with the Librarian episode, we had a wonderful discussion. We were celebrating the National Day of Racial Healing. We applied for a grant through the American Library Association and we received funding for that grant. And that is to highlight certain activities that promote the National Day of Racial Healing. So we had a panel discussion with the police chief, Mr. Kevin Roberts, with the Clayton County District Attorney, Ms. Tasha Mosley, and we also had a mental health expert, Ms. Danielle Hillman, who was on the panel. And we had a very robust discussion about inequities, racial disparities in the county, as well as how their personal experiences help to guide them in their current roles, in their current functioning in the county, and so forth. So it was a very robust and very meaningful conversation. We also realized that February is Black History Month, so we had our third annual Black History Art Exhibit, which showcased the remarkable talent of local Clayton County artists. We also had Valentine's Day celebration, the Lunar New Year, and we had, the Lunar New Year, get my notes here. It allowed patrons to explore and celebrate traditions from across the world. Next bullet point is we also had in February an event which we are calling Intimate Conversations. And this also was to recognize and participate in that National Day of Racial Healing. So headquarters hosted a conversation with author Hannah Palmer and discussed her novel, The Pool is Closed. And for the first 20 patrons that arrived, they received a free copy of her novel by virtue of the grant. And participants had a unique opportunity to hear directly from her about her inspiration, writing the book, some of the, I will say, backlash and or reactions to her writing the book. And if you haven't read the book, I would absolutely encourage you to read the book. Ms. Hannah Palmer is a Clayton County native. She was born and raised in Forest Park and now lives in East Point. She tells a very interesting tale about swimming pools and watering holes, rivers, lakes in this area in the city of Atlanta. So it's very compelling read. Last month, I mentioned several MOUs that were in process. So we had the Ellison Consulting MOU underway. We also had the Melanated Pearl, and for our summer food program, we had Caring Hearts. Coming up soon for the Board of Commission meeting, there will be several more memorandums of understanding that will be presented to them. One is for the Georgia Cyber Academy, and this memorandum is to provide students at Georgia Cyber Academy living in Clayton County and with a public library card access provided by the Clayton County Library System. And that information is generally electronic resources. So it provides them another access and another avenue for databases and electronic resources. And there's no cost factor involved with this memorandum. We're doing such a wonderful job with the grant for the National Day of Racial Healing that the funder provided us an extra $500. And so we will be presenting that to the Board of Commissioners also to accept additional funds on our behalf. Authentic Mind is a partnership with an LLC, and that's to enhance participants' overall well-being by providing educational and experiential sessions focused on personal health, self-awareness, and healthy living. Through interactive discussions and activities, participants will gain tools to navigate stress, maintain healthy boundaries, embrace authenticity, and cultivate holistic wellness in their personal and professional lives. And you may recall probably, what was that, December, when we had the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra for our Coffee with the Librarian episode. We've finally been able to execute the MOU for the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra so that we can now start offering passes to residents in Clayton County to go to the symphony and no charge. So, yes, uber excited. That has been in the works for quite some time. And the last update I want to remind everyone is that National Library Week is April 19th through the 25th. There will be a proclamation read on April 7th at the Board of Commission meeting. But I would also suggest folks to go by any one of the local branches. We will be having activities at each branch for the entire week of National Library Week. So please come out and help us participate. Last two bullets. At the Northwest branch on February 28th, we had a men's prostate awareness program. Ms. Belinda Ellaby spearheaded this very powerful discussion. But the discussion was out of a meeting I had with a colleague of mine, another library director from Jersey City. And he is a prostate cancer survivor. And he wanted to do some type of program on a wider scale to bring awareness to the disease and to the causes, to the cures, to the treatments of prostate cancer. And so Terry Hill and his wife came down, and we had a panel with some other physicians and speakers who were well versed with prostate cancer. And it was great. We had a room of about 50 people, men and women, about 3 hours long as far as the program. So again, very meaningful. And the last bullet point, I need to give some shine to my administrative assistant, Ms. Celia Wilder. She didn't know I was going to do this, right? So a couple of months ago, I was contacted by our risk management department, and they asked if we had a safety coordinator in our department. And I said, well, at the time we don't, but I think Celia would be the perfect staff person for that. And she has done such a wonderful job. The risk management department asked her to speak at their last meeting and give a presentation on the process that she went through with the library system and how it can be adopted by other county departments. And so I want to give her a big round of applause. job. So are there any questions on any? Yes, sir.
I do have one about the prostate cancer.
Yes.
Was there any testing taking place?
We didn't do any testing or screening. This was basically gentlemen who were either prostate cancer survivors to tell their story, where they got their strength from, the support system, and again, to encourage everyone to seek out medical help. And again, this is something that's very curable.
Yeah.
So if there are any symptoms, don't hesitate, go to the doctor, seek out medical professionals.
A follow-up question,
Yes.
because this is a serious topic. Would there be other conversations centered around that? Because we need to get our men to the doctor.
Agreed. And this is not the first event of this kind. So we are in the process of scheduling other events around prostate cancer. And hopefully we can have resources on site that can do testing or at least screenings.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'd like to echo from Vice Chair Andrews just said, I am a prostate cancer survivor from 2007. So we talking. Any other questions? All right, we're good. And next item on the agenda, we have the financial report.
After.
Okay. Okay, can everyone see? Okay, so first page, our state grants, and we can see from the percent use. Okay, the percent use column, and I'm gonna pretty much stick to that.
Yes, that's fine.
We are doing fairly well in all the categories with the exception of the SSG account. SSG is pretty much discretionary funds, and we usually leave those at the end of the year in case something comes up, an invoice that wasn't expected, what have you, and so we have a little bit of change left over to take care of that. This also one here at the bottom is for the Riverdale expansion. I'm not sure if it will be next month, but probably within the next 2 months, you will see that amount diminished significantly. There has been some movement. We were waiting on some zoning issues. And so that has been cleared, and so we expect to go full ahead on the Riverdale project coming up very soon. Vice Chair, you have a question?
No, it's these glasses, man. I'm trying to see.
No worries. Next, please. Riverdale, again, the line item for supplies, 69% of that budget has been utilized. And again, we're on track to finish out by the end of the spending cycle. Next. Same thing with Morrow, over half spent. Again, should be, the funds should have been or will be expended by the end of our spending cycle. Next, please. Forest Park, same thing, over 50%. Next. Headquarters Library, a couple of additional accounts. So for the supplies, you see 75% just about, as well as the 62% for the other minor equipment. I made kind of a joking comment last time about our libations for board meetings. So yes, be prepared at some point, we may have to make adjustments on that. We're okay for the season.
All right.
Next, please. Lovejoy, saying they almost expended all of their monies from that account. Next, please. Northwest, same, 64%. And the last slide, please, is library admin. And you see we are doing very well. Our minor equipment almost completely expended those funds. Again, our dietary supplies, we are almost at 58%. So we have several major conferences coming up. One of them is coming up in the beginning of April, which is the Public Library Association Conference. The other major one for libraries is the American Library Association Conference, which is later in the summer, late June. And so we've got quite a few staff members who will be attending those conferences. And so that travel and training budget, it will be wiped out and we might have to transfer some additional monies just so staff can have an adequate time with their professional development at these conferences. So, any questions on the financial?
No, I got it.
Okay.
All right, hearing no questions, we'll accept the financial report as read. Next item on the agenda will be the cabinet director's report. We want to use this issue now.
So good evening, Board of Trustees. I'm Sherry Stanley, Deputy Director for the Clayton County Library System. And this month, the library celebrated a variety of special occasions that through displays and events, including Black History Month, Valentine's Day, Lunar New Year, Dr. Seuss's birthday, and much, much more. And so we are going to have a presentation right now. Let's talk about, you all have heard us talk about the Helen Ruffin Reading Bowl. And this is a reading competition that was created by Georgia educators to encourage students to read. And so we have two students. Can you stand up, Nora? And can you stand up, Terry? And so we spoke about the Helen Ruffin Reading Bowl. It was rescheduled because remember we had inclement weather and we had the snow scare. So we had to reschedule and Nora unfortunately wasn't able to attend, and that's okay. You are being honored because she still participated with Terry. They were a team and they did absolutely wonderful. And so right here are their three coaches. And this is Amanda Corbett and Alexander Evans. And also we want to highlight Rebecca James. She's right there crying. Rebecca is our assistant director over our youth services and has done a wonderful job. And so the director, and Rebecca and myself and Jennifer and Amanda, we were all at the Helen Ruffin Reading Bowl. And so there was an unwavering confidence. When Terry and Nora, they practiced, but when we had to reschedule, Nora wasn't able to attend, but Terry said, I got it. I can bring it home. And so, they said, okay, are you sure? Because mind you, 34 schools, and there are 4 to 5 students on each team. And so Terry had the confidence and said, I have it, I can bring it home for you. And so there was an unwavering confidence that Terry had and that he would represent. And on February 21st, he entered the competition fully prepared and focused. I remember I was taking pictures and Jennifer caught my eye and she was walking out there with Terry. So all the schools walked out holding the banners. And so although competing as a team of one can be intimidating, Terry displayed remarkable poise, confidence, and readiness through the event. And he was supported by his Clayton County family as well as his family. And so at the onset of the competition, other teams, their families, and even the coaches appeared self-assured upon noticing one single competitor. However, the other team's confidence quickly diminished as Terry consistently buzzed in. And as the rounds progressed, it became evident that, he was a force to be reckoned with. And so by conclusion, Terry won 4 of the 6 rounds.
Wow.
And he earned a total of 280 points alone. And so he was in sixth place and tied with, I think, 2 schools. And so this was impressive. In the fourth round, Terry had 70 points and the other team had 10. And so what we want to do is, we want to hear from the coaches first. And Jennifer, Amanda, and Alex are going to speak.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So if you see me back, I would teach I'm such a big crybaby, and Terry and Nora have become my library babies. So, yes, so I'm going to speak a little bit on how we got started. And Amanda is going to talk about our practice, and then we'll go from there. So to the members of the library board, to our director, deputy director, our assistant directors, and everyone to their respective places. First, I would like to take the opportunity to thank you all for taking time and honoring our very first, let me say it again, our very first Helen Ruffin Reading Bowl team for the Clayton County Library System, and we are known as the Chapter Book Champs. Our lovely team, Terry, T.J. Jones Jr., and Nora Osborne in the room. And I would also like to thank their families for allowing their babies to be a part of our team and trusting us. Yes, and to our team who lived up to the name of being called once again the Chapter Book Champs. Yes. And last, I want to thank Amanda Corbett and Alexander Evans, who were my co-coaches. And they didn't have to do it. They didn't I asked them, and they could have told me no. And they did it, and they were with me every step of the way. So in 2023, Greg Coleman, who is the Clayton County Public Schools Coordinator of Library Media Specialist, he spoke to Ms. Rebecca about the library possibly having a Helen Ruffin Reading Bowl team. So Ms. Rebecca, she mentioned it to us at one of our monthly youth services meetings, and we all thought it was a great idea. So at the time, we decided that we weren't going to do it that year because, this is our first year, and we had to take time to register, promote it, work on building a team. So we decided that we would do it in 2024. But because life be life and work be working, we didn't do it in 2024. But the whole time, it was still in the back of my mind because I love reading, I love books, I love the kids, and I love competing. So we didn't do it in 2024. So during the summer 2025, as Ms. Rebecca and I was talking on one of our extensive Monday morning phone calls, because I called her on a Monday morning, and we will talk for over an hour but it's work related, everything's work related. I had brought up the idea of us starting our Helen Ruffin Reading Bowl team again. So she was like, my dear sweet Jen, this would be a very good idea. And she asked me if I would be the one to lead the team. I told her I would, even though I was kind of a bit nervous, but I told her that I would lead the team because I was the one that brought it back up. So we, throughout the time, we talked a little bit more. We came up with a date of when we wanted to do our interest meeting. We decided that we would hold it in fall while the kids were on their fall break. So we chose the date of October the 16th. Of course, we promoted it throughout the libraries. We promoted it on our social media sites, on the library's website, and also, of course, word of mouth. We had families that were very interested in the Reading Bowl competition. They were taking the flyers. They were asking us questions about, how do the kids sign up, what it all entails and everything. So we, thinking, oh yeah, we're gonna get us a big team. We're gonna have all these kids coming. So the day of October 16th, as we were sitting there waiting to see who was going to show up, so the first person to walk in was Nora and her family. So they are not Clayton County residents. They live in our neighboring county. So they came in, And so being the only one at the time, no one knew, we didn't know if anybody else was coming, but our confident Nora, she was like, well, if nobody shows up, I got this. I can make this happen. So a few minutes later, Terry and his mom walked in. And so, we were all just kind of, talking and just kind of figuring out what to do, because honestly, we really didn't know what we were doing. As you may not know that we didn't know, but at the end it was different. So we didn't know what we were doing. But we were just kind of, figuring it out and everything. And at that time, Terry and Nora, they made a connection. And so no one else came in. Like I said, we had like all these people that were very interested. No one else came in. But our two confident babies was like, we don't need anybody else. We're going to take you guys to state. And right then, we knew that we had a dream team. So there was 10 books that were in the competition that was already pre-selected. I asked them, I said, do y'all want to split the books up, or how do you want to do it? They was like, we come read them all. So they did. They ended up reading all of our books. And then, where do we go? Here we are, being honored for being 6th place, having 280 points. Yes. And before I leave, Amanda's going to speak on our practices, but I do want to mention that I want to give kudos to the parents, the moms. They work with us, and that's why we are where we are today, because of not just us, even though we were the coaches, but they were with mom. They would be with us once a week. They were with mom, dad every day. So they were the ones that really helped pull and put this team together. So I do want to say thank you to moms for what you have done. And that concludes my talk. I mean, if y'all want to hear me talk some more, we on the time frame, so I'm going to pass the mic to Ms. Amanda. Thank you all.
Good afternoon. Being part of the very first Clayton County Library team for the Helen Ruffin Reading Ball was an incredible experience. From the very beginning, we met every week with Terry and Nora, along with their wonderful moms. I can honestly say that I've never seen a more dedicated team. Our challenge was to read 10 books, and at first you might think that doesn't sound that bad, but these kids had to remember every character, every setting, every tiny plot point. It's much harder than you think. Each week we practiced not only recalling the stories, but also learning how the competition itself worked, because this was our first time. During our weekly trainings, everyone took on different roles. We had a moderator, that's the person who asked the questions about the books. The console judge watched the buzzer lights and called on the students who buzzed in first. The scorekeeper recorded the points where everyone could see them, and the timekeeper made sure answers were given within the time limit. Learning how each role worked gave us a whole new appreciation of the Helen Reading Bowl, which is in Georgia first. Teacher, right? Yes. One of the most interesting parts for me was learning how to set up the buzzer system. You guys, there were so many wires involved. Once we learned how to do that, it did make our practices much more exciting. Terry and Nora did an outstanding job during the training sessions. In every round, they scored at least 40 points all the time. They demonstrated both their preparation and strong teamwork. Each game consisted of 6 rounds with 10 questions per round. The questions could come from any of the 10 books. Throughout the sessions, they learned to be quick on the buzzer while still listening carefully to each question. They also grew more confident in trusting themselves, relying on each other when answering, and knowing when to call a challenge if the question seemed incorrect. These kids are truly amazing. Thank you, guys. And I also want to give a special shout out to the moms, because they stepped in whenever we needed to maybe go out and do library services, or if we were out, the moms were there to help with all those roles I just talked about. And I thank you, Jen, for getting us started. And Rebecca, thank you so much for supporting the chapter book champs and getting us to run smoothly. Alex kept us with energy, with snacks, drinks, and keeping us on point, because sometimes me and Jen. But all in all, it was truly a wonderful experience, and I'm very excited about what we will accomplish next year. Thank you, guys.
And so really quickly, we do want to highlight Constantina Bankhead. Constantina, can you raise your hand? Can you stand up? And Talia Yanez, right here in the back. Terry is a part of Constantina's homeschool program. And so we want to thank Constantina for all of the knowledge, using the resources. This is what we talk about, the impact of the community. You see firsthand utilizing our resources, our databases, and so we really want to recognize them as well. Briefly, we would love the moms to come up. They have some things to say. Ms. Jones.
First of all, I just want to, I can see and I can't see. I just want to thank the library board for supplying such wonderful programs that include homeschool families. My husband and I are more mature parents. I say that because there's physical maturity, mental maturity, as well as spiritual maturity, and we are all three. So it can be seen in the way our son TJ reacts in situations. We're trying to instill good qualities in him, and so far it's paying off. TJ's love of reading started because he would see the older boys at Kingdom Hall reading the Bible and other publications. He said at 3 years old that he would be reading at 4 years old. I asked for advice from another homeschool mom, and she said that the key to teaching her sons how to read was reading the Bible daily. All I can say is I followed her advice, and he began to read. During COVID, a month before he turned 6 years old, he did his first Bible reading for our congregation on Zoom. TJ's love of reading continued, so we spent a lot of time at the library checking out books, and we attend a homeschool STEAM class every third Friday of the month here at this Battle Creek branch location with Miss Talia and Miss Tina. That's where we found out about the Helen Ruffin Reading Bowl, because Miss Rebecca came up and told us about it. TJ said he wanted to do it. And I don't know, most parents are busy, so am I. I'm a college student, I work, I also homeschool him, and I do volunteer work helping others to see the importance of learning about what the Bible teaches. So I'm busy. So it was hard to find the time to take out to be able to bring him to these competition practices, but it was worth it, and it's something he wanted to do, so I did it for him. Miss Amanda, Miss Jennifer, and Mr. Alex were wonderful. They worked hard providing a good training, and when the competition got rescheduled, we were disappointed because they were so ready. TJ and Nora were so ready, and me and Miss Tessa, we got together and even did an extra Zoom practice so that they would stay ready. The week of the newly scheduled competition, TJ studied all week. He went over questions and reread the pages of the book if he got the question wrong. Granted, he had already read these books 2 to 3 times a piece. He read 9 out of the 10 books in all. He had, the night before, he got a good night's rest. And the morning of the competition, ate a light breakfast. And to get the nerves off, my husband, Terry, said a prayer for us. And then we went to the competition. When we showed up and saw the librarians and all of our friends. It made TJ so happy for the support. After he won the first round, he was good. I won't lie, I wanted him to win it all. And I knew if Nora was there, they would, them other kids. But we'll improve next year. And this opportunity itself is a part of TJ's education. And I don't know everything, and it does take a village. Thank you all for being a part of TJ's village. And thank you, Jehovah, for the wisdom and the knowledge to raise him. And thank you in advance to the board for making up other programs for our kids. Thank you.
Well, let's tell you that we are library people. We love the library, and Nora approached me and said she her friend had done the math bowl, and Nora actually has math bowl this year. She really thought reading bowl, she really loves to do a reading bowl. So we saw the ad on Facebook. And we are so appreciative. We didn't know, so we are very familiar with a neighboring county, but as people who love libraries, we remember 3 libraries. And we visit 2 different library systems weekly, because everybody has a different set of books. And when we walked in, we didn't know what we were walking into. I can only tell you that we are just so grateful for the librarians. Nora can tell you she's been going to book club meetings since she's like 4. So, these librarians, the enthusiasm of them, the home, it was just remarkable. It would be different if it was our first program, but we know libraries. We know DeKalb, we know Fulton, we know Fayette, we know libraries, we know librarians. And the enthusiasm, they read the books themselves, they had the discussion. So typically when people conduct programs, they're just a librarian, these are the kids. No, this was full engagement. So if Nora can speak better than I can about looking forward to Thursday. She has a full activity at school. She has math bowl, this bowl. She's Beta Club president. She has all her after school meetings, and then she has to come at 4 o'clock, for 2 hours almost every week to do this. But the enthusiasm of those librarians were just fantastic. So I cannot commend the county enough for the programs you put together, that, nowadays when kids are on tablets, that you have a program where you're looking forward to read 10 books, like she said, not 1, not 2, 3 times. So, we can't say enough about Terry and his family and just the camaraderie, a love of reading. We're just so enthusiastic. So feedback, she asked me any kind of feedback. Love that it was on Facebook works. Potentially, she said we maybe could purchase the books before they ever do it again, because I know it's all about budgets. I saw the budgets up there. We really wanted to highlight, and Nora thinks it's a crime to highlight. Miss Jennifer and Miss Amanda and Miss Alex said maybe this is an opportunity to purchase a set of books for the people that won't participate, so they can really, and maybe get the books earlier, because we had a pretty full schedule from October to January. But again, I hope that you guys, budget-wise, will support this program. They look to recruit earlier to even expand it to more kids and have the Lover Reading group for them. And what Nora and I said, we also approached our county to say, hey, so we kind of saw it on Facebook, it'd be nice, would you guys do this? And you're like, no, we don't do this. So much more grateful as you guys are here that you guys would do this. But I think Nora can say more than I can say, but again, thank you. Thank you so much to Jennifer, to Amanda, to Alex, we'd love to come back next year if you guys would have us.
And one thing about it, our director always says and thanks the staff for all the work that they do. You can see it firsthand, the work, the hard work, the dedication that our staff put into this reading book competition, but that's in all of our programs that we do. And so we will be mindful of time, but we definitely want to hear from our young ones. Terry, can you come up?
We want to hear from Terry and see what he has to say.
When I heard about the Helen Reading Bowl, I really wanted to participate because I love reading books. And since I'm a homeschool student, I had never been on a team before. As soon as I got the list of books, I'd already read 6 of the 10 books before our first meeting. The librarians, Miss Jennifer, Mr. Alex, and Miss Amanda, always had sample questions for me and Nora to help us train. Also, playing video games helped me to be faster on the buttons. They always made practice lots of fun, and snacks were my favorite part. When the ice storm came and the reading bowl was rescheduled, I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to compete since we were out of town for the next 2 weekends. I prayed to Jehovah for me to be calm, and I told him that this was something I really wanted to do. You all asked me what gave me the confidence to go up against those other teams, 1 against 5. First, Miss Tessa and Nora thought I could do it. Second, the librarians thought I could do it. And third, my family and friends said they knew I could do it. The reason I thought I could do it is because I had practiced a lot and I was determined to just do my best. I knew Jehovah would bless my efforts. On the day of the competition, I was a little nervous, so I prayed to Jehovah. After the first round, since I won it and I knew what to expect, I wasn't nervous anymore. Most of the other teams congratulated me on winning and had good sportsmanship, but some teams were sore losers. But my parents told me to shake the team's hands no matter if I won or lost. There was also one team who was talking trash about me because there was only one, and they were saying, "Oh yeah, we about to beat them teams." And I won. And they weren't even sore losers. They congratulated me on winning too. I had plenty of support, so I wouldn't feel alone. Some of my friends from Kingdom Hall came to support me along with the library staff. That made me happy. During the competition, one of my friends helped me not to be so nervous. In between rounds, we were playing and cracking jokes, which loosened me up. Towards the end of the competition, I wasn't afraid or nervous. Also, while I didn't win the whole competition, I won 4 out of 6 rounds. I got 6th place tied with Huey and Brown Elementary Schools. I had 280 points. I wasn't disappointed. My goal was to practice hard and do my best. I figured I'd get a good score, and I was proud of myself. I feel like next year, Noah and I will get them. Even so, we still went to my favorite Japanese sushi restaurant, which was the best part of the day. I want to thank everyone for their help. Thanks, Mom and Dad, and most of all, thanks to Jehovah.
So the second I walked into the library in Clayton County, it had been like a long day of school, and I was like, oh, let's try something else. And the librarians, Miss Amanda, Miss Wynn, and Mr. Alex, they were so enthusiastic and kind, and they were like, we're ready to win this. They were supportive, and I really felt like my mom was like, hey, do you want to do this? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, we're doing a lot of other things. And I said, this is one thing I think I can manage. After all, what harm are books? It was a little books. As Miss Amanda said earlier, sometimes you think 10 books is just, oh, you'll get it done within a week. Yes, do better than once within a week, but to know the characters and the plot and the setting points, it was really like a lot. I also enjoyed working with the buzzers because I like the sound. And I really love to read, so I kind of thought reading bowl would be a fun way to exercise. my reading skills since my best friend had just broke a record with the math bowl. Even though like I was doing other things, I started to really look forward to every Thursday where we would practice because like what my mom said, I'm Beta Club president and I do a lot of other things. And sometimes one more thing or some activities, it's just like, oh, I have to do that again. But reading book really felt something like I was looking forward to. I'd be like, come on, Mom, let's get out. We're gonna be late for reading book. Because sometimes I felt she was being more slow. but I enjoyed reading and looking forward to this. And I just want to thank you so much. And I hope to do it again with you guys in middle school.
This is wonderful, and this is what we talk about impactful programs. You see Rebecca's in the back crying, Jen's crying, because we really do make connections with our patrons. And so we consider them family, you know, and so we're very excited. Director Pam is going to come for a presentation of awards.
Drum roll, please. Jones Jr. We also have what we call a swag bag here. Next, we have Miss Nora Osborne. And we also have a swag bag here from the library. You're very welcome. Mom, get pictures together. Miss Shannon Jones. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Miss Tisa Osborne. Miss Amanda Corbett. Miss Jennifer Wynn. Mr. Alexander Evans. Miss Constantina Bankhead. And Miss Talia Yanez. Off script a little bit here. Rebecca. Do not. Part of the reason that, again, I start every board trustee meeting giving kudos to my staff. There are millions of things that they do that go unannounced, that go unnoticed, and they just do it for the love of doing it and for the love of the people that they do it for. This at times is a very thankless job, but when we have situations and events like this, as Trustee Gates said, I overheard, this is what's so meaningful about the work that we do and the impact that we make in our community. So please continue to support libraries. Please support your community. And I look forward to seeing every last one of you again in the library at another time. Thank you so much.
This is incredible. I feel like I missed out. When is the next bowl and can we go and cheer?
Well, it will be next year. Do we have a date, you all?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay, but we will make sure that everyone is informed.
Yeah, I wanna be there, cheerleading. Great job, parents. It all starts at home. Thank you.
So we're going to move into the next portion of our business meeting, so if you would like to step out or whatnot, we will allow that. Thank you so much.
I'm really curious to know.
Thank you so much. We talked about a lot of celebrations this month. Black History Month, Valentine's Day, Lunar New Year, and Dr. Seuss's birthday. On February the 13th, the library honored George Speck. George Speck created the potato chip. And so the Lovejoy branch shared a video on YouTube, but also passed out some potato chips. So we know that George Speck created the potato chip. Also, genealogy workshop with Franklin Walden. You all know Franklin here at the headquarters library. He hosted a genealogy workshop at the Marlboro branch. And so this workshop was very engaging, using Ancestry.com and other research tools to help patrons explore the traces of their family heritage. 1906, Atlanta Race Massacre, Traveling Trunk Program. So the library Marlboro branch hosted a program featuring the traveling trunk from the Center of Civil and Human Rights. The interactive program explored the history and the impact of 1906 Atlanta Race Massacre, providing participants with a learning experience that combines historical artifacts, storytelling, and augmented reality. New Orleans Mardi Gras. We know that Mr. Stacy does a wonderful job at the Forest Park Ranch. So on February 17th, 4 to 6, the library hosted a live street band that marched outdoors in traditional parade style, performing authentic music associated with the New Orleans sound. The Youth Services Department at the Marlboro branch hosted a delightful cookies and card afternoon, giving participants the chance to enjoy sweet treats while creating their own personalized cards. And the Forest Park Library partnered with the Forest Park Recreational Center after-school program to encourage meaningful reading experiences and foster community engagement through interactive literacy activities. And this was the Read Across America. And I, for the sake of time, I know we had such a wonderful presentation. Our staff really do have the heart for the community. They really do listen to the community. We provide surveys after programs to see the interest of the community. And so we do want to give kudos to all the staff for all their hard work and all their programs. Any questions for my report?
No, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, next item on the agenda will be the community reports. Madam Secretary.
So for our advocacy committee, I'm going to speak first, which I can speak first. So yesterday was the first time that I had the opportunity to attend the library day at the state capitol. So I was like, I had not been there since I was in elementary school. So I was like on a field trip. So, we appreciate our, Chair Fabian for being our driver that got us safely there. It was honestly just a really good time that we were able to connect. That's what I felt. I felt I walked away knowing everyone just a little bit better and knowing what the library does as a whole. I did not get my picture made with our governor. I know that y'all were disappointed in that. But that was okay because I just enjoyed the day. I think it was so well executed and so organized. The varsity, all the way down. I can't think of anything other than I missed out on the scarf. That was a negative. It was a wonderful day. Do you really? Well, hallelujah. But so I would just like to say, I know that everyone's schedule doesn't always permit us to attend those things, and I know that I'm new, so some of y'all are probably saying, yeah, when you're on the board a long time, you may not want to go either, but I would encourage anyone that has not been there for the State Library Day, that when we get the opportunity next year to go ahead and kind of pre-warn your people that you work for, I've got to have off to go to that, because it's well worth the time that it was. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I'd just like to echo her remarks about yesterday at the Capitol. Actually, yesterday was my first time being at the Capitol since I've been here. And just like he says, Saber, it was a connection. We built a connection with our co-trustees, and that was wonderful. And I got to miss one of the better parts of it. I left a little bit early. I didn't know that we would have had the opportunity to see the governor speak, and but I left a little bit early, and I think I missed the varsity hot dogs too. So, but anyway, it was a great day, and I certainly had a wonderful time.
Anybody else?
About that or not?
I echo Sabra's statement. It was an experience, educational experience, just getting to know everybody more. And the state capitol, I've never been inside. Just the tradition of it, the beautiful artifacts and just the stairway. So it was awesome. And I felt that the state representatives and the senators that we did see were very friendly. I mean, they were approachable. You were able to have conversation with them. So I thought that was excellent. And we did get to see the young Democrats. And so many things were going on, varsity, that I haven't had in probably over 20 years, brought back memories. And it was just exceptional. And I appreciate it and being able to participate and to see the Brian Kent there. I'm not a fan of this, but to be able to be his president was nice. But anyway, I would like to ask Chairman Fabian if I can make a reservation for next year, a lift.
Yes.
I second that.
Before I turn it in the hands of Trustee Gates, let me just say that I had an opportunity to meet the director from the Dusty Service, and of course his board of trustee members, and he spoke highly, very, very highly of Director Palmer. They're saying that they're doing good things about Clayton County Library way out in Augusta. So it tells us that either they got somebody here that's infiltrating here, or the words from here is getting out across the county lines all the way to Augusta. So it shows you that his leadership and his staff is doing a remarkable job to be heard all the way to Georgia, and to be followed up by the director of library in Savannah, my hometown. how she spoke highly of Director Palmer. Of course, I had to tell both of them that they couldn't handle it because he's here to stay. And so we're gonna continue to do what we can do to maintain Director Palmer's tenure here in Clayton County. And while sitting in the presentation with Ms. Julie Walker, the state librarian, sitting to my right was a gentleman who came and sat down and he introduced himself. He didn't tell me where he was from until later on. And he said, I'm with the Henry County Board of Trustees. I'm like, oh, so you don't know me? He said, oh, who are you? And Trustee Gates said, you don't remember us? He said, what's your name? He said, Fabian, wait a minute. Y'all invited us to a meeting y'all had. I said, exactly right. And he said, you know what? We're overdue because we're supposed to host y'all again. So we're waiting on Mr. Chet Ivy from the Henry County Board of Trustees to honor their request to host us at a meeting and greet. And so that shows us that what we're doing here as a board is getting out in the public, because he asked what were we doing. And I said, oh, we had fun. We were spades, we were bowling. So we went deep sea fishing. He said, wait a minute, y'all went deep sea fishing? Yes. He said, can we go? So I said, well, if we get it to sign up again sometime soon this year here, I'll give you a shout. And y'all get 6 people, get you a vessel, and let's go out on the water. So, and what made it so good, he said, you know, where did y'all go at? So we went to Orange Beach, Alabama. He said, you know what? I got a vacation home in Orange Beach. So that's gonna be a plus for us. But I just wanted to add that little nugget in there. So I put it in the hands of Trustee Gates. You want time crunch?
I know, we on the time crunch, and this would be the month that I was really out in the library street. So what I'm gonna do is try to make this as concise as possible because of time. But one thing about yesterday, I totally agree with the connection. I walked away feeling like I knew my fellow trustees more on a personal level, and that felt really good. Okay, so I'm gonna use 4 statements that I heard this evening. An incredible staff, incredible Clayton County staff that have a heart for community, the library resources, impactful programs, and creation of relationships. I dropped by to say hi at the Riverdale Branch Library and was met with this quilt display, amazing quilt display. Amanda told me the story about the person who created the quilt. Kim is playing the video, and if you want to just gaze at the video while I try to run through my report. But Amanda told me that the patron that created that quilt had only been quilting 2 years, and they used library resources to learn how to quilt. And I think that's just amazing. But the quilt, you'll see the quilt soon. On 2/11, I attended the knit and chat with District 1 Commissioner Lana Reeves at the Riverdale branch. My takeaway from that was perfect location for a casual chat while doing a relaxing activity. I think that was a good move for Commissioner Reeves because it gave a nice, quiet, relaxing, informal space for her to answer questions about anything that you wanted to ask. I don't knit, but they had other crafts, so I did a nice Valentine's Day craft. On 2/24, the Morrow Branch Library hosted a Healthy Coach Presents Herbal Tea Blends. That was amazing because I love herbal teas. Ms. V told us different types of herbal teas. There was a guided tea tasting of tea blends that she created, and she assisted us with creating our own custom tea blends to take home. I spoke with somebody who sat next to me who said she was there because she thought that was an interesting program, and she was trying to get ideas to take back to her organization. So we do make an impact on other people in their programs. On 2/25, Living Conversations. They've already touched on it, but, it was awesome. I was so proud of the two Kims. They hosted a spectacular conversation with Hannah Palmer, who I had met previously at a program. So I won't go into much of that talk because of time and they've already discussed it. But I was so proud of our incredible staff members at the Clayton County library system. They did an amazing job facilitating that interview. Amanda, who you all met earlier, and Amanda Corbett and Mrs. Pam at the Riverdale branch did an adults with special needs power hour with a day program. And it was so amazing. It was amazing. Amanda read 3 books. She had dancing, games, and arts and crafts for adults with special needs. And I just so happened to sit next to one of the staff members of the day program. And he just went on and on about what a great program it was, and how great Amanda and Mrs. Pam were at planning, organizing, executing the program. There are not many, or if any, others in Clayton County that are free. And he just went on and on and on. He said that he would write me a statement, but I haven't received it yet. But once I do, I'll bring it forth. Okay. On 3/7, I dropped by to say hi at the Lovejoy Branch Library. I was greeted and received very warmly by Courtney and Catherine, and I had never met those 2 staff members. I also chatted with Mr. Ray to find out, and he told me some things that were going on in the library, in their branch. And also he told me about some upcoming events with Ray's Old School Corner, which is a place he created to keep 55 plus active, engaged, and young at heart. That's it. That's my report, like, really quickly.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Trustee Gates. Okay, moving right along, that's going to our unfinished business.
The website ADA compliance. Laura, how are we doing on that?
Good.
Doing good. Moving along. Next, the update on Senate Bill 74. I know that was getting a lot of attention, hot and heavy, but things have kind of cooled off. The bill crossed over from the Senate to the House on March the 3rd. The House had a second reading on March the 6th, and we're waiting for April the 2nd for Senate DA.
Sunny die.
Right, for it to cross over. So we will see at that point where it goes, and hopefully it will fall off in that.
Yep.
Updates on edits incorporated to the bylaws revision. My memory serves me, we voted and agreed last time to remove the word immediate from the text in that, and so Sherry's passing around the latest iteration of the bylaws where the immediate family member term or immediate has been removed. New business?
All right, let's move on to the new business.
So if you will, well, this is the bylaws, so. So we took out the immediate family member in the section that's highlighted. Yeah, thank you. New business. I'm going to take these a little out of order, so if you would allow me to indulge just briefly. I'm going to talk about the computer use policy first. This policy has been previously approved by the board. However, in looking at it again, there was some language in there that we needed to take out or remove because it was no longer applicable. So you'll see the information highlighted in the red where it says the library's reservation system. We no longer have a reservation system. Prior to COVID, we were, all of our public computers, almost the entire day were being utilized by patrons. And so oftentimes we would have to have reservations, so when the computer became available, that next person would have an opportunity. But since COVID, we haven't had the foot traffic or the necessity for a reservation system, so we had to remove that out. And there's another line item or another term in there that talked about the usage limit. And so we have also removed any restrictions for usage. So that language also was taken out or removed. Prior to that, the patron who had a library card, if it were in good standing, allowed them a maximum of 2 hours a day to utilize the computers. We did away with that. So now, if there are computers that are just sitting there unused, restrict that 2 hours. Hey, have at it, finish up doing whatever you have to do. And so we were taking that out as well, so we needed to make those edits. Are there any questions on any of those two items or phrases?
No.
I will need to vote on that. Yes,
I'm sorry, you say we need to vote on bylaws?
no,
Okay.
on the policy,
On the
computer
policy.
use policy.
Okay.
Yes, because of the edits that we made to, we'll have to adopt.
Okay, you have heard the direction of the use of the computer policy read by Director Carl. I have a motion to approve, please.
I motion to approve the adjustments, you said the minutes,
No.
the adjustments for
Computer
computer
policy.
usage, yeah.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Secretary Kawali. Is there a second?
I second.
Mr. Isaac. Second by Trustee Isaac. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposers? Any abstentions? What policy passes?
Great, thank you.
You are.
For the next two policies, I would like to propose that the board actually does a first read of the policy tonight, and then we come back at the next meeting, and then we can have a vote on it. And I would actually like to ask the same for the general library program waiver form. I don't want to have to read line item by line item or again, have you all sit and read the entire policy. So if this evening, you can take time or take home to review it, and then we'll come back at the next meeting for the next meeting. So just as some FYI, for both policies, we solicited feedback from the county attorney. And for the artificial intelligence policy, we also solicited information back from the IT department as well. So Ms. Laura Amy did a yeoman's job of pulling this together, and then with the review of county legal and IT, we have put together, we think, a pretty concise artificial intelligence policy. For the general library program waiver, we need to condense and consolidate several things. So when children are participating in programs and we want to use their pictures, we have to have their parents sign off or waiver again to utilize their image. We also, if we have programs where, I don't want to say it's dangerous, but someone could possibly get hurt, we also needed a waiver of some sort. And so we combine those into this general waiver programming form we did. So again, if you wouldn't mind reviewing it, and at our next board meeting, we can go through, I can respond to any questions you may have on either one of these policies. And then at that time, we can vote to adopt. Would that be acceptable?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. And before we finish, I want to introduce someone. And she's been with us all evening. There's been so much going on, but I want to introduce Ms. Jenny Van Orsdale. She is Jenny is our new Assistant Director for Outreach and Community Engagement. And so you will see her at events, you'll see her with Bookmobile, you will see her all over the county, so.
Can I say a moment?
Please.
So at my first admin meeting, I shared this with everybody, but I would like to share this with the library board as well. When I was a young one, way back in the mid-1980s, this big old black and white cow building went up, and my school came here to visit. When I was, I think, in first grade, and I was very jealous because I didn't have a library card. So I could not check out a book, and that was completely unacceptable to me. So after that, my parents brought me and my siblings, we got cards. By the time I was in 5th grade, I checked out way too many books over my life. I started volunteering in my school's library because I just loved it so much. Fast forward, I'm in middle school. You mean the public library has volunteers? So now I'm volunteering for the public library in this very building. When I turned 17, they encouraged me to apply for the summer shelter position. It was just a temporary job for high schoolers. I applied, I got it, I fell in love. They liked me so much that when one of the employees, who was also a school teacher, decided she wanted to resign, she waited until I turned 18 so that I could officially apply to be a permanent employee of Clayton County. So I got the job, and I worked from a shelver up to an assistant branch manager over the course of the next 15 years. I left for 10 years to spread my wings and get more experience. So 10 years later, I'm back as an assistant director. And I'm very excited to be here. Clayton County has and always will be my home, even though I tried to leave it before. So, I'm stuck here, I guess. But I'm very excited to be here and to represent Clayton County, be out in the community, doing everything that we need to do. So thank y'all. Thank you. And Kimberly, thank you so much.
And if you didn't know, we had 2 employees who formerly worked here. They went out, spread their wings, and have come back home. And I couldn't be happier. The energy, the dedication, the passion that both Kimberly Clayton and Jenny have. We have a wonderful team here, and we will continue building a much better public library system in this county. So thank you all for your support.
Okay, if you have no other business, I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Been properly moved by Vice Chair Angel, is there a second?
I second.
Second by Secretary Skidmore, are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? You adjourn. Good night.
This was really nice.
Yeah.
This was.